Three friends, one amazing series of YA novels, an insatiable thirst to relive the glory that is K.A. Applegate's literary masterpiece. This is Phantomorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Hello and welcome to the Dork-Bajir Chronicles, a podcast where we read through the Animorph series one book at a time, then talk about it every week. That's terrible. Today we'll be talking about the TV series, episode 11 of season 1. It's called The Reaction, not surprisingly, based off of Animorphs number 12, I think, which was also called The Reaction. My name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden, just sipping Slizzard Neo-Citrin like a blizzard.
Still sick. Lame.
Gross.
And we're joined once again, of course, by a summarizing expert, Animorph TV series whiz, Jared McClure.
Hello, everyone. I am back. More Animorphs TV. You can't keep me the fuck away now.
On a personal level, what is your opinion on the comparison of watching these shows and waterboarding? Worse? Better?
Best way I could describe it is this show is kind of like sandpaper to your urethra.
Oh, fuck.
No!
You're welcome, everybody listening to this.
Only one piece of fan mail this week.
Yeah, you guys really need a theme song for Phantom Mail.
We do. We have one.
We do have one.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Did you not listen to the show?
What the fuck?
Awkward.
I'm a terrible person, guys. You know this.
It's okay. We still like you.
Okay.
Phantom Mail!
Ooh, yeah!
Phantom Mail!
Ooh, yeah!
Yeah, anyways, I'd posted a meme that was like, it was a joke. It was like an old school, what are your allergies thing, and I had replaced one of the examples of allergies with crocodile DNA. And Gwen from Facebook very helpfully, there's a picture of like a generic stock photo girl on it, and she replaced it with some very well, I'm actually jealous at how well she cut out Rachel from the covers of some of the books and posted them on there. Yeah, so fucking shout out to that, because making memes is hard.
It's true. It's very difficult. If you're part of our Discord, patreon.com/dorkbajir, you can join the Discord server. We've actually released a little call about like ideas for memes.
Okay. Memes are hard. That's why you'll notice there are like no memes on any of the Two Nerd stuff, because that shit is way too difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah. Photoshop is an interesting beast. Anyways, this episode will be summarized by Tessa, but just to give a bit of background, this was directed once again by my man, William Fruet. I think it's supposed to be Fruit.
Aw, that's cute.
Will Fruit you up. And again, written by Neil Shusterman and Mark Scott Zachary. Some call them modern day literary heroes. I don't know.
They're very good at their jobs.
They were essentially, why am I... Fuck! I had something here. Continue. Ignore me. It wasn't that funny anyway.
And this was released November 17th, 1998, almost exactly 20 years ago. Bum, 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 bum.
All right, you want to jump right into this recap-a-rooney?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So my whole writing of the recap was actually just my discussion points for the show, and Phil didn't like that, so he pulled the 2-sentence recap from Wikipedia. So here we go.
Your summary initially was literally like someone live tweeting the show, and it's like that doesn't make any sense.
It's what
for
the
someone who
fans
doesn't know
want.
what it's about.
Mikhail, you'd have an aneurysm if you looked at my notes.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It's just a
just wanna know what's
mishmash
going on.
of plot points and random thoughts. And
Anyway, this one. So class is on a school trip. It's great. It's only a half-day school trip, though. What's the point? This rando walks over to Cassie and Rachel, and they go look at the tigers, because for some reason, tigers... So they're at a zoo. Oh, that's the main point. They're looking at the crocodiles. Crocodiles aren't doing anything, so like, let's go look at the tigers, because tigers are going to be more interesting. Yo, have you ever been to a zoo? The big cats are always sleeping. Like, that's just what they do. I have a friend who works at a zoo. All of her pictures are of the cats sleeping. Anyway,
My uncle is a zoo. Okay, anyways.
While they're looking at the tigers, some little boy just Harambe's into the crocodile pit.
What does that mean? He Harambe's into the pit.
What the fuck do you think it means, Mikhail? It's not exactly an inapproachable meme.
No, because the kid involved in the Harambe story was not named Harambe.
Are you sure of that, though?
That's why they call it the Harambe story, Mikhail. They're both named Harambe. It was a weird plot twist.
That was why
that's why it made national news, the boy and the gorilla.
Holy shit, man, this thing's got the same name as I do. And they went in to go hug it out.
So Cassie jumps in to save the kid, and Rachel joins her for whatever reason, because, she doesn't trust Cassie to save people. But there's no crocodiles in this crocodile pit. There's just a bunch of, tiny caimans that are at most 4 feet long. Its head is the size of these children's feet. Just, step on his mouth and get away.
I was saying that the entire time. Because I don't know a ton about crocodiles, but I know that, their open mouth is not all that powerful. It's when they close it that it's, super powerful.
Yeah, all of the muscles are in the closing of the jaw, as we talked about in Live from the Gardens from Book 12.
So just fucking, walk up.
Put
you got
a little
sneakers
rock on him.
Stomp that shit on the face.
Put a little rock on his
you're
face
golden.
and run away. Yeah, they're not very big, so they're not in much danger. But Rachel gets the kid away, and Cassie just leans down and touches the croc so that it acquires it, so that it doesn't come closer.
These ones aren't as big as the ones in the book. That disappointed me.
No.
The one in the book was a full-on, from the Nile or something. It was huge.
Did she latch onto it? Did she just jump onto it to acquire it for the hell of it?
In the book or in the
in the show?
No, my idea was she acquired it to put it in that acquiring trance so that the kids could get away.
Oh, I thought for some reason she was just okay, you guys run. I'm gonna jump and grab this croc tail for some fucking reason.
You can't keep morphing horses.
Worked out real well for her, as we'll see in a few minutes.
Yeah, then her stomach gets hurting, so they go into the barn, and her stomach has been hurting since the zoo, and she actually says, maybe I'm allergic to something, because my man Schusterman and Scott Zachary are real subtle. Then we get a phone call, because they call the barn instead of her parents, and Cassie and Rachel get invited to star on this TV show, which is very exciting. And then Cassie's hand turns kind of green and scaly, and they're like, that's fucking weird. They look on the internet that who else is going to be on this TV show but Jason John McCall, the super cute movie star. Cassie's hands turn green again. Jake is like, this is really fucked up. And he has this what was it? When he goes we need a plan, right before that, he huffs a little bit. He's like, we need a plan. And then jumps back over to the table with Marco. And it's the sassiest little huff. It's oh my God, Jake, stop. So they meet in the barn. Cassie is like, hey, Axe, can I talk to you privately for a second? Before that happens, she just doubles over, stomach in huge pain, morphs full croc. Can't control it. I can't remember if this was before or after the bookstore bit. But
I have comments on this because you best believe I'm gonna be bringing back my puberty theory.
So they find out, okay, this is the Harath Ilint, which is burping DNA. You're allergic to the DNA. You gotta burp out the full-grown baby croc, and then you'll be fine. It could take 2 Earth weeks, but maybe it'll be a couple of days. At some point, I think it was before the barn bit, actually, but Cassie, goes to this bookstore or library and pulls out this kid's book on reptiles. And then Tom is there. Tom acts super creepy. Cassie freaks out, and her back starts morphing croc, so she's, trying to make sure Tom doesn't see and is acting real shifty as he's so, you and Jake have been hanging out a lot, hey? Do you like him? And it's oh my God, stop. Tom, you're 30 years old. Stop this.
Well, to be fair, so is Cassie.
No, Cassie does look much younger than him, though.
I wanted him to go in. Oh, you and Jake are hanging a lot. What, you guys fucking or what's going on, huh?
It's how you do? You do from the front,
Yeah, I wanted to get super intimate, real close and real creepy.
So how many times a week?
It's all in the family.
You guys ever need me to get out of the house or something? Just bang on that door. I'm out.
Yeah, I could buy you weed. I don't know what you're saying.
Trying to be really cool, but also just super creepy and overbearing at the same time.
Buy you weed. I could get you some, fucking diaphragms or whatever.
I could get you some condoms. What sizes Jake needs? Yeah, fuck.
Here, I'm gonna hold out my hands. Just tell me when to stop, okay?
God damn.
Anyway,
sick.
I hate you all.
I'm kidding. I know how big my brother's cock is.
There's a scene before this where Visser 3 is just hate watching television and talking shit about it. And then Tom is there and it's like, yes, we'll get Jeremy Jason, I'm just going to call him Jeremy Jason McCole because that's who he is. We'll get Jeremy Jason McCole on this talk show talking about how good the sharing is and people will flock to him. And Visser 3 is like, yes, a use for this trash. It's like, Visser 3, in your spare time, you were looking at a cracker. Like, TV watching is better than that. You are not. Come on.
And, well, in all fairness, this is many years before Breaking Bad came out, so I get it.
And then I
The only
forgot
good show.
when they were in the barn and making their plan before Cassie comes in to talk to Axe and then the Haratha Lint is explained, Jake is just sitting there with this great big fucking whiteboard that he's drawn like a football play on. It's like, okay, if Cassie and Rachel are here on TV, we'll be over here, and and he's just holding it and trying to explain. It's great. It looks so awkward. And then that night, Cassie's having trouble sleeping. She's tossing and turning. Then she wakes up and calls Rachel. Rachel's like, oh, did it happen? Did you burp the crock? And Cassie's like, no, and Rachel interrupts her and it's like, this is great. I'll tell everyone.
Out of context, like, burping the crock totally sounds like a sex move.
Yeah, it goes back to your theory that this whole crocodile thing was a puberty metaphor.
Yes. The TV people fucking Will Fruity Boy, he's on the same page as me, I think.
I thought it was gonna go back. I thought it was gonna go back to Tom being creepy. He'd be like, "Oh, you guys fucking burping the crock? Or what's up?
You burped that crock yet, babe?
Burped that crock yet? Huh?
Kate, two
This
questions.
is just Tom in my head. This is full canon Tom in my head now.
Two main questions. One, why was Cassie calling Rachel if not to tell her, like, what was her original question that she never got to? And then two, Rachel, don't say such, like then she talks about, like, the plan and, like, being ready for tomorrow, and it's like, come on. You're spoiling. If any yerks have wiretapped your phones, come on.
They don't have thumbs, babe.
Hey, you got me there. Anyway, so they're getting ready for the TV show. Jeremy Jason McCole, they're like sitting in the makeup room, getting all makeup. Jeremy Jason McCole comes in and is a huge dick. At one point, he asks for some food, and then like the next time we see him, he's eating a plain rice cake.
Like, what kind of savage is working on that show? He's like, oh, he wants some food. And you have a fucking
Here's
rice
a
cake.
white circle. Chew on this.
And then he seems totally happy with it. He's like, oh, hey, I got food. Yay.
Well, because he's a yerk, he doesn't know what food's supposed to be. So then, predictably, Cassie gets sick. She's having the burping episode. They rush her to the bathroom. She goes into, like, the big stall. It's, like, everything is, like, shaking in there. In my mind, I only watched, like, The Invasion Part 1 and Part 2, and then I remembered seeing little bits of this episode. Like, I remembered the bookstore scene, I remember the burping scene. And in my memory, in the burping scene, she goes into the big stall, it shakes and stuff, and then we hear a really big burp sound effect, and then she's crawling under the stalls to escape. And there was no big burp sound effect, and I was kind of disappointed.
Maybe you just really loudly burped when you were watching it.
Yeah, right.
And it's ingrained itself in your memory.
This is why I hated this show when I saw it. Not this episode in particular, but like the show in general was just like, that's such a fucking cool visual in the book where it's like this crocodile grows out of her back.
And the only reason she can stand is because she's also uncontrollably morphing grizzly. It's great.
Wait, is that what fucking happened? That's sick as shit.
Yeah, so Rachel is uncontrollably morphing grizzly because of emotions, and then also the crocodile is growing out of her back, and she looks in the bathroom mirror and sees these two heads, and the crocodile head is coming out and is like swinging around and snapping, and its tail comes out and is whipping around. She's trying to like stay on like upright.
That's dope as shit.
Huge, like 12-foot croc grows out of her. So then the crocodiles escaped. The girls run away. Jake and Marco are morphed. Like I think Marco is the llama still, and then Jake is morphed something else, and they're just chilling.
Marco is definitely still a llama because he's just sitting there. He's like, yeah.
He's just not doing anything because Jeremy Jason McCole faints, because that's what you do when the Yeerk leaves your head, I guess, because the Yeerk jumped out because it didn't want to get eaten by the Croc, because the Croc's going to Jeremy, Jason, McCall. Rachel and Cassie rush over, try and wake him up and save him, and then Jake and Marco are like, oh my god, that Croc is going right for the Yeerk, wow, and we've got front row seats. And then this Croc, this tiny caiman, really, turns around and tries to eats the slug.
I have a question. Why the fuck did the Yeerk decide, wait a minute, I don't want my host to get eaten by the crocodile, so I'm gonna go into my much more defensive form of just a fucking slug on the ground.
Instead of using my human legs to run away.
I'm gonna be no, I'm gonna slowly crawl and leave a big fucking greasy streak.
Maybe just Jeremy Jason McCall is just such a coward that he just passed out from fear.
His body passed out, but the Yeerk just had to escape.
Yeerk's
pretty much.
This.
Well then, Cassie and Rachel do their little secret handshake at the very end when they're recapping and talking about how Jeremy Jason McCall now lives in Tibet and wants to be a Dalai Lama. And the credits roll, and the guy over the credits says, "Stay tuned for a very important message from Cassie." And end of video.
The message was, it's all about the animals, y'all.
The message was, it's all in your hands. It's all in your hands.
Wait, it's head, though, right?
It's not.
The original song is hands, and they've just tweaked it a little bit for head for the theme song.
Wait, so the theme song is like a re-recording of an existing song?
Watch the credits. Right at the end, it's like...
you can kind of hear it.
You can see it's like all in your hand.
Yeah.
And it's actually listed as all
But also,
in your
listen
hand.
to the lyrics. Try and make a stand. It's all in your head. No.
You know what? It's all in your hands is like a much more positive message. Because it's all in your head is what you tell people who are like, it's the equivalent of telling someone to just relax. Just relax, man.
No. That's why, for some reason, they just tweaked it because Yeerks are in your head. But it doesn't make any sense.
That's a good tweak, I guess.
I mean, it's a good tweak in certain ways, but that is a really shitty tweak in other ways.
Yeah. Listen, don't talk shit about this series. It's defined my childhood.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, do we have
Taught me how to
thank?
hate.
This tiny caiman looks so small, especially in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just put it in a garbage bag.
And the one lady, she's as soon as it comes in, she's like, crocodile! And then she runs away. And I'm like, it's probably the size of a Shar-Pei.
This is okay.
I
know.
could fight that thing.
I know we don't want to do this, but I gotta tell Jared about the great moment in the book. So they're in. It's not like a big bathroom. It's a single toilet bathroom in the book. So they're there. Rachel's hulking out in Grizzly. The crocodile is burping out of her back, and there's somebody banging on the door because they really gotta poop. And then they finally bust down the door right as soon as the full croc is out. And they're like, I'm so sorry, I just really have to go. Can you imagine being that person who really has to shit? And then you bust down this door before your TV show that you are some best boy grip on. And you bust it down to take a poop and you see a croc.
But also,
that wasn't a slug on the ground, y'all.
Wait. He burst it. He breaks open the door while she's still in there. What? Are you gonna be oh no, say she wasn't hulking out and having a crocodile.
I know, no, it's
what is
bad.
he gonna shit between her legs?
Poop in the garbage can or something. There's I'm sorry, I really have to go in there. Just
fuck. And that's
it's
also
a bad plan.
That's also the perfect little Austin Powers segue from the first one when he drowns the dude in the toilet and then he walks out and Tom Arnold's there. He's like, "Oh hell, boy, what did you eat?"
Okay, here's my theory when we read the book, because this is actually very, very, very close to the book. I'm not, except for the fact that it was Rachel in the book instead of Cassie. That's the main difference. My theory is that this might be a little too cerebral for Tessa or Brayden because they shot me down before.
Hey, get fucked.
This is what I'm talking about getting fucked. Anyways, the puberty theory is that the DNA that she's allergic to is actually a metaphor for her hitting puberty, because in fact the TV show shows it even more clearly, because the part where Cassie first accidentally morphs the crocodile, guess who's secretly standing right behind her? Jakey boy.
Whoa.
It's perfect, right?
Hot.
And then later when Tom is like, hey, it's a library and I'm a sex predator. Bingo, bango, bongo, crocodile reaction. And I think, what was the third time it happened? Was it just, I think it was just when they were doing like the makeup, right? But it was right after they talked to Jason Jeremy McCall. McHale. What's his name?
McCall.
Yeah. Yeah. Also a sex object.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, but I think in that one, the idea was they find out he's a dick, and Cassie's getting angry that he's such an asshole to this makeup lady.
But the point is, dicks are involved. I have turned your own logic against you.
The only thing hard about this mission is the nipples.
Okay, but the thing is, Jared, in the book, Rachel's looking at pictures of Jeremy Jason McCall on the internet, and like, I think she puts her hands down her pants.
No, she doesn't. She gets all like heart beating in her chest, like, oh my god, I can meet a famous person who's super cute, and then
that's the YA version of a boner. Let's get real.
Very.
I mean, it's also the girl version of a boner.
The girl version of a boner is an erect clitoris.
I didn't want to say it, but
I mean,
that is
her
actually
clitoris
true.
probably was erect, but it doesn't mean she touched it.
We don't know that.
Okay, this is where three men mansplain clitorises to Tess.
I mean, I've never had sex, so you might as well.
Oh, God.
I don't know what a clitoris is. Is it a Pokemon? We just don't know.
I mean,
yeah.
I've seen the newest generation of Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, probably. One of them's just a set of keys.
I know.
Did they keep making Pokemon after they made a literal god Pokemon?
They've made 5 gods. Brayden, there's been like 5 different gods.
Yeah, but they only made the one there's only one Arceus.
Are you saying there's only one Pokemon god? Okay.
Well, that's canon. And that tracks with the universe.
Do you guys think that the guy with the ponytail from the zoo is
He was so great.
the protagonist from the first Alternamorphs book?
I like to think so.
The Alternamorphs was the Choose Your Own Adventure books. And you got to play as an Animorph, and Marco just shows up in your house and you talk about it. And you do sick bike stunts. And now that's the headcanon. Ponytail guy is the bike stunt boy.
Yeah.
He seems to have a lot of opinions, yet we have no clue who the fuck he is.
He just loved to talk about zoos with Cassie and Rachel. It's like, who are you?
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of opinions that he voiced, yet we don't even know his name.
Yeah.
It's safer that way.
This feels like this entire episode was just chuffa, and we did not need it.
Chuffa?
Chuffa.
What is chuffa?
It's just like useless shit you don't need. Just chuffa. Get rid of it.
I don't think it's pronounced that way.
Chuffa.
How is it spelled?
Chuffa.
You mean chaff?
No, it's
like
chuffa,
separating the
man.
wheat from the chaff?
No.
Is this like some weird term from like Marvel
maybe.
and DC?
Chuffa.
Maybe.
You guys never heard chuffa?
I've never heard chuffa before in my life.
Well, now you have. You be educated now,
Boom.
Tessa.
There you go.
refuse.
If you learn one thing from this podcast, aside from don't watch this fucking series, it's the term chuffa. It's just a term for useless garbage in a story or script or anything.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't stop thinking about fucking Tom in this thing. Like, that scene in the library, but also like every time they talk to Tom, because in the last episode, Tom was like refusing to eat an escargot, and Jake was like, bum bum. The music in the background was so intense.
I
Nice,
keep
nice.
thinking back to that episode now because he takes like 6 bites out of the. Somebody taking a leak?
Brayden, keep it in your pants.
Pouring myself some water. You think I have that heavy a flow?
Maybe you're
Hey, man.
sick. I
I
don't
have a
know.
heavy flow
If it's
and
the
a
first
wide-set
day.
vagina. Yep. Second day, actually, Mikhail.
Ooh, woman-splained.
Facts.
Don't woman-splain me about periods, Tessa.
My bad.
But I keep thinking back to that last episode because Jake takes like 6 bites of this escargot for some reason because he's a goddamn savage. But
He's
I
just
kind of
like-
wanted,
yeah.
I really wanted him to like make eye contact with either Visser 3 or Tom, and just be like, and just slurp it all up in one bite.
That it was like unnecessarily evil, but the problem is no one at the table understood what the point he was trying to make.
No.
So he just looks like a
I wanted his
fucking
mom
freak.
and dad to be sitting there and be like,
Well,
what the fuck's
if
wrong with you?
anything, they are going to suspect him less of being an Andalite bandit because it's like, this kid clearly has brain damage. He could never attack us fully.
Between that and the artichoke scene, they're just like, nah. This kid, leader of the
No
Free
fucking way.
Andalites, like, no way.
So Tessa, speaking of woman-splaining things, is this what female relationships are like? Like,
What?
it's 3 a.m. I'm going to call my friend and then cryptically tell her things and then hang up.
I want to say yes, but like growing up, I didn't have any friends, so my experience is not universal.
Did you call your brothers at 3 a.m. from room to room and have
No.
conversations? Okay.
No, I kind of woke
Interesting.
up at 3 a.m. and cried myself back to sleep because I was terrified of the dinosaurs that were chasing after me.
Uh-oh, we've wandered into territory that is not funny.
Nah, just like, yeah, I don't know, because like I never talked on the phone a lot as a kid, and you hear all these things of like, oh,
My
teenage
day, we didn't
girls.
have phones.
Teenage girls always talking on the phone with their friends, and it's like, I mean, I didn't, but I don't know if that's because my parents disapproved of us using up the phone line or because I didn't have any friends.
Were your parents like, we only have a limited amount of phone time a month. You
I
can't
don't
use
even
it up.
know. The biggest thing I remember from my childhood is that mom would tell us to like go outside and play instead of stay inside reading books. So we'd take our books outside and read them there. And I have fond memories of like reading Animorphs, sitting in the tree, or like pretending to like playing Animorphs with my younger siblings, and we're like pretending to be animals, killing all the Yerks, and then we've got to pretend to be normal people in front of our parents. It was great. No, but like this was after, so we would read the Animorphs and then we would act it out in the living room. You know. I guess the closest I ever got to being like Cassie was pretending to be like a gazelle on the Serengeti a couple times.
Closest I got to being Cassie was my really weird sense of morality that only really affects animals.
It's one of the things I like about you the most.
That's it. Like
It's a weird sense of morality.
Yeah.
Well, not in talking about how people can change.
Yes, apparently.
You're like at fucking like Old Navy or something, hanging around the change rooms, just like, man, people sure do change.
Just by myself. And
Yeah, and the
laughing
attendant's
at my
like,
own jokes.
oh my god, can we? Is like, this guy's not hurting anyone, but like we can call security, right? Like, this is fucked.
Please.
He's
And
here
then
like
there's
every
other-
day.
Like one of the other one comes up like, nah, it's Jared. He's here every week.
And then he's just starts,
He makes the same shitty joke.
you know, everyone
and
can
then he
change.
leaves. He
And then
doesn't do
Jared
anything.
just starts screaming Chuffa in the change room.
Chuffa! Get rid of it. Chuffa!
It's a word! Chuffa!
And he always buys like a $3 shitty bracelet with a $100 bill, and then when people hand him his money, like what's left over, he's like, "Thanks for the change."
It's true, you do that.
Yeah, that's true. I just got back from doing that.
I guess. Okay, Jared, here's a question
Shoot.
for the TV show. What would have changed about this episode if Rachel was the one who had the allergic reaction instead of Cassie?
Literally not a goddamn thing.
Why do you think they changed it from Cassie
don't
to Rachel?
really know. Maybe because the actress playing Rachel really fucking sucks. Not to say that the one playing Cassie is much better.
I mean,
but-
they're trying their... I like Rachel's voice. I will say that. I realized that. Watching these episodes, that the actress's voice, I was like, yes, you got like a nice voice. You can't say the lines very good. but
Yeah,
none of
no,
you can.
like that's the problem. But yeah, not to say that Cassie is better. And honestly, I've noticed we're now like 11 episodes deep. I've noticed that they do seem to lean a lot on Cassie. Just like not really in terms of like a whole bunch of the episodes are like focused around her, but it's just she seems to be very present and very I don't want to say like necessary, but just very like involved.
She totally is. Like, she has oftentimes the smarter ideas. Like, even the thing where she was like, the real Jake would have wanted us to starve him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's like really smart. And
I love
good
that
to
we're
point that out.
talking about this episode, but we still can't stop talking about 9 and 10 because
like
they are
the
just
ones
such
from last
better
week.
episodes.
This episode fucking sucked. I hated it. It was so
mostly-
boring.
It was just boring. Nothing.
The only good
like,
part was hearing Marco's voice come out of a llama. Yeah.
I just picture that as like your phone background now. Just like that exact screenshot of Marco as a llama. Just looking at Marco llama.
Fuck this professional photo of my newborn child.
None of that.
Marco as a llama.
Marco as a llama. And keep it there until your child is old enough to like
Appreciate
to know it, and
Animorphs.
just be like, why is that there? Just be like, oh kid, you're gonna find out, and then sit down and watch the entire series of Animorphs and ruin your child's life.
I get okay. So then we can kind of agree then in a roundabout way that the TV show is better when they go way bonkers off the book. Hey, it's more enjoyable that way because 12, the reaction was like episode 11 of book 12, the reaction was pretty faithful to the book and like kind of boring that way.
Yeah, I think the best episode so far was the one where Marco and Rachel pretend to be doctors. Remember that one where they go to the hospital? It's like, oh, this is some caper shit.
Yes,
Hello, short doctors.
We've hired a 13-year-old. It's just
Some Doogie Howser shit.
Yep.
But it, like that also makes me wonder because, mind you, coming from a dude who has not read the books, but hearing you guys talk about the books, it's obviously much darker and even to the point where it becomes like super violent.
Oh yeah. The violence here is like
Whereas-
avoided. It's like a lion
Yeah.
hugs a man, and that's the most violent thing I've seen.
Whereas
3 episodes.
here, it's like, yeah, you were playing on like you were airing your shows on a channel where their main demographic was anywhere from like 6 to 12 to 13, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And
Can't
this
get too
was
dark.
in the late 90s where everybody was still like violence was still kind of frowned upon.
The thing is, this is why I think it would play much better as an animated show, because they got away with so much shit on shows like Samurai Jack or like Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, where it was just like, this is fucking fucked, like violence-wise, but because it's a cartoon, people are like, okay, my child can watch this. I think Animorphs would have been so much better with that money behind it.
Even stuff like Batman and Spider-Man, like you can have people be beat up in an animated movie without it looking super violent because it's animated.
Yeah.
Except for the 90s Spider-Man show where they weren't allowed to show broken glass, so Spider-Man was always able to find a convenient open window.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yep.
The recent Spider-Man or Batman movies and stuff, it's like, that is more the level. Like, I wouldn't even say that's as violent as Samurai Jack was. I'm looking for like that, like, hey, bones are growing out of my face as I morph this thing, like through my skin. Like, I want that kind of shit.
You want something real fucked up.
Like some
Yeah.
14 plus Teletoon After Dark shit.
14 plus, holy shit. You crazy.
Get it?
Maybe you're
Intense.
talking about like an R-rated Netflix only,
Oh my god, a Netflix only gritty reboot of Animorphs?
in the vein of like the new Castlevania series that they did.
I actually really
So like
liked
an
that
anime?
series.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But it wasn't really an anime.
Anime Animorphs? Animorphs?
Keep trying. You'll figure it out.
No,
I
there's
just
more
You'll get
than
there.
that.
that
We're all
idea.
letting you do this.
No. I'm just gonna keep it Animorphs. Animorphs.
What if it was Japanimorphs? Because people
No,
used to call
that would
anime
be-
Japanimation.
Animorphs is
Animamorphs.
basically Hitalia, because that's just like brings to mind them morphing countries.
What if it was anime animo?
I was thinking Animamorphs.
But that sounds like a Dragon Ball Z like special move.
Kamehameha Animamorphs.
Yeah, so like I'm wondering if it was just because like their demographic that they were shooting for, they couldn't do everything nearly as dark or as violent as they did. So we just ended up with these books that contained a lot of violence and fairly dark themes for a YA series, just dumbed down to boring.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's just not a thing you could make. Like, there's a reason why they waited so long to make a Spider-Man movie. Or there's a reason they waited so long to make a Lord of the Rings movie.
I mean, they did make one.
Yeah. And then the Beatles wanted to make one too, but thankfully
Oh
somebody
my
put the
God.
kibosh on that shit.
You told me about this, and that was great.
They waited until they had the production support, the money, the time, the fact that it will be 3 giant movies before making it. Because they knew that was the only way to do it justice, right? They didn't do that for this, is what I'm saying. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. This, they did not do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this whole episode was super disappointing, especially coming from episodes 9 and 10, which were still not good television, but very good for this series.
Just can't be fun. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
This one straddled the line of this could have been a literal TV show if it wasn't Animorphs. It would have been whatever. It's a mediocre kids drama with a little bit of supernatural in it, you know?
Totally.
I just wish, what if Axe had just rubbed Cassie's hands over his boobs and then, hey, there you go, you burped out a crock.
Boom.
My magic pectorals.
Even better. Since the other one, he demagnetized the card by rubbing it on his pectoral. I wonder if he's you have to shove your finger up my ass. There's no other way around this.
Axe keeping pranking, oh yeah, I got all kinds of magic powers, kids. If you all lift me up,
spit in my weird nose holes. It'll cure your diabetes.
Oh Jesus! Skip that chemo, folks. If you just shave with my tail blade. Yeah, right.
Fuck.
I don't know. I'm so burnt out whenever we do these episodes. I'm just so painful to watch and talk about.
It is because yeah,
they're just not fun. Not like the books. The books are so fun. People beat each other to death with their own severed arms. Yep. It's great.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Also,
fucking sexy.
A gorilla, I think Marco in Gorilla Morph once got a fist-size hole punched through his chest by a laser beam, and then survived to demorph. And it's yeah, that's all right. I'm cool with that kind of fucking over-the-top violence.
Totally.
I mean, Marco's always getting disemboweled in the books, and it's dude, maybe morph like a giant tortoise and not a gorilla. Morph something with protection.
I can't remember what the fucking species is called, but Chinese crocodiles.
Oh yeah,
have armored bellies.
Those guys are cool.
Sick. What if you just carried a tortoise shell with you and strapped it to your gorilla belly?
Oh my god! He's like a gorilla in cosplay as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Or even better,
but he got one key detail wrong. It's on the front of his body instead of the back.
Or even better, just get an actual shield and stay as a human, and then get a sword and maybe a magic ring. Oh, sorry, just be Lord of the Rings. Nailed it.
Ooh, that was so funny.
Just yerk me right off. That was good.
You said it.
Nailed it.
Oh, did it.
I'm done.
Oh my god.
Worth it. I think we're all done, honestly.
I think we're done.
I'm pretty done.
I've definitely finished earlier.
I just finished. Okay. Give me, I gotta get a Kleenex. 1 sec. Okay, next week.
Several Kleenexes.
Oh, Braden's alive? Oh my god.
Still going. Good lord.
Next week, we're going to be talking about more TV shows. This one will be about episode number 12, The Stranger, which is not surprisingly based on the book The Stranger. It's a Rachel episode.
It's based on Stranger Things.
Based on Stranger
really
Things.
Off script.
Yeah. Time travel. Anyways, Jared, where can we find you, in the old web?
You can find more at me at collectivelegacy.org or iTunes, anywhere iTunes, Twitter, anywhere you really listen to podcasts, you can listen to me there. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. 2 Nerds in the Basement across the board there. I'm pretty active on Twitter, so feel free to give us a follow and jump in on whatever random bullshit I'm ranting about. Lately, it's mostly been the Venom movie, but we'll talk more about that on Twitter. So.
Oh my god, I could fucking talk about that for ages right now.
Yeah.
And for us, you can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org. That's right, we're part of the same network. And we've also got Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook.
And you can remember to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also find us at our parent site, collectivelegacy.org.
Do you think that when the internet first came out, it was called iTubes?
Really?
No, it was called the World Wide Web, you idiot. Did you not
it was
read
called
book
AOL
16?
Online. You fucking millennials.
Actually, it was called Al Gore's Personal Porn Fest.
It's all just trees pollinating each other. Because he's an environmentalist. Fuck you guys. Come on. Jesus Christ. That was a good joke. You can show your support for, us in general. at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Dork-Bajir, because Braden can't afford to buy cold medicine. And we're pretty sure he's just going to be like this, forever, unless we do something for him.
We all know a cold is both permanent and deadly at this time of year.
Yep.
I've caught the chlamyds. I need the money for the medicine.
We got to smoke out those crabs somehow.
Tessa, please put me to death by choking me with your feet.
I feel like that's more for you than for me. Anyway, join our Patreon
It's his
page.
dying wish, Tessa. Just do it.
We offer special bonuses for patrons, like access to the Discord server, Animorphs essays written by us. If you've joined recently, you can read my essay for October. Don't feel guilty and feel like you have to give us money. Braden's fine. We'll find another newbie.
Braden's fine. He will die, but we can replace him. Yeah.
I feel the warm embrace of the toes of death deep down my throat.
He'll be in a better place.
Patrons of the Dork-Bajir level or higher will get a shout out on our show. What do we do for these generous little bastards there?
We just put a little stank on it. We have a little fun with it, and we give each patron an Animorphs title. Mikhail, why don't you start us off?
A big thank you to patron Greg de la Posta. I always read that like it's Spanish.
Fuck. That sounded...
Should I read it like Braden?
Greg de la Posta.
Big thank you to Greg de la Posta, the International.
Big thank you to Anyanka, the artist.
A big thank you to Spencer, the not racist.
A big thank you to Shanna, the shunted.
Andrew Vila, the liquid.
And to Steam Driven, the driven.
You're so good at this.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
For the Phantomorphs, my name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden. Release me. Release me, death. Stick your sweet bony toes down my neck. Choke me, thought.
And I'm Jared. I'm stuck watching the rest of the series.
And this has been Phantomorphs of the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. Anyways.
Oh, that was
You know what's fun
terrible.
is
Stop doing
over the
that.
Skype call, for some reason, Skype has prioritized Braden's voice over Tessa and Jared's voice. So, like, anytime he's coughing, all I hear is...
Hello everyone, my name is Jared, and this is Two Nerds in a Basement. Once a week, me and another nerd watch one of the over 70 movies put out by Marvel or DC Comics over the last 50 years and talk about them for far too long.
Can we just take a moment to address the fact that Howard the Duck looks like Martin Sheen?
You just want a Jimmy Olsen torture scene, right?
Something. Don't just shoot him in the head. Like, string him up by his toenails and just go to town on him.
And he's just got this scratchy voice. It's so annoying.
What's our solution to nuclear warfare, 10-year-olds?
It's like, I want to be a witch. I want to you explore the black magics, and you get the aesthetic of your dreams, right?
I went straight to the boob grabbing. Hang on. Let me get there.
Brought to you by
Collective Legacy.
a podcast network.